Welcome to the 𝗦𝗵𝗲 show. We are so thrilled, so happy that you can join us today, each and every morning. We love to employ you with knowledge so that it can, you can take off in your business and in life to lead you to the success you truly desire. So welcome to our show. So today, Ria is going to be taking over the conversation, but I want to always welcome you. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria, and welcome to our show.
So Ria, without further ado, I'll pass the mic on to you.
Thank you, 𝗥𝗵𝗲. Today, guys, I would like to thank you for tuning in with us. And today, my topic would be, who needs the most financial intelligence? So Definitely. Let me bring on my iPad. And people believe that, they do not need any financial IQ or financial intelligence because they're earning paycheck. They're getting monthly income from their employers. Now, hopefully today's topic, who needs the most financial intelligence, financial IQ, would enlighten each and every one of us. So
Definitely.
Hopefully I could enlighten you where we are currently, because I'm also in one of these quadrants. And this is the quadrant that I am trying to get out of so that I could be on the right side of the quadrant. So currently I am in the S, which stands for either you're a specialist, you're self-employed, which I am right now, or you're a small business. And I'm also a small business as well. And I'm trying to get to the B, or the business, and the I, or the investor. So let me bring you here. All right. So who needs? The topic today is, who needs the most financial intelligence? Now, if we remember Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, this is the famous cash flow quadrant. We have the E, or the employee. We have the S, which stands for specialist, the self-employed. Like I said earlier, I am part of this. Yeah. Self-employed. Or you could be a small business. Now, the B are the big businesses. And big businesses have more than 500 employees. Now, the I are your investors. So they make a lot of money because they invest their money to companies like startups, or there is this thing called capital ventures, where they provide money to grow your business. Now, I'm going to discuss the E and the S. The E and the S, which is the employee and the self-employed, they think they do not need financial intelligence. Now, Robert Kiyosaki said his dad is a PhD. Okay, he's a doctor in education. He got a degree for that. Now, unfortunately, after working as a teacher, he lost his job. So his job was paying him every month, right? But the money stopped coming in because he lost his job. Now, because he had some savings in the bank and some retirement account, he was able to use this money, the savings, and the retirement. However, Robert Kiyosaki said, this only lasted for less than one year. He depleted all his savings. He depleted all his retirement. So that was a hard learning lesson for them. Now, his mom, Robert Kiyosaki's mom, is a nurse. Now, she wanted Robert Kiyosaki, the little Robert Kiyosaki, to be, so his mom is an employee as a nurse. He wanted Robert Kiyosaki, the little Robert Kiyosaki, to be a specialist. Do you know what specialist it was? It was to become a doctor, because Robert Kiyosaki's mom is a nurse, and he saw that doctors are making a lot of money. And yes, they do make a lot of money, but his mom did not know that the doctors are paying high taxes, and they're also paying high malpractice insurance. Now, so his mom thought that becoming a doctor would give little Robert Kiyosaki high money, which they do make money. But a lot of the doctors or the specialists do not have money in the end. There's no money. And why is that? Because of the taxes and because of the malpractice insurance, and they have to live their, there's a thing called daily living, right? Standard of living. So most likely their standard of living is also high. And so that is why there is no money in the end. Now bring back to the B and the I. Now remember, the first side of the quadrant, the E, the left side, the E and the employee, S, the specialist, the self-employed, the small business, they think they do not need financial intelligence. Now let's contrast that to the B and the I, which is the business and the investors. Oh. Now the business and the investors, they need to have higher financial intelligence. It is a must. And why is that? Number one, Financial intelligence is essential. And why? Because financial intelligence provides them the money. It gets them the funds, the income. Third, the higher their financial intelligence, the higher is their income. So that's why for the business and the I, the investors, financial intelligence is essential. Now, I'm going to share with you some history. But before I do the history, let me go back to this side first. Employee, which is the dad, the PhD dad of Robert Kiyosaki, the self-employed, the specialist. So the mom of rich dad wanted little Robert Kiyosaki to become a doctor. Now there are, just like in any trade, there are successful doctors, are successful employees, successful PhD, successful teacher. However, they are poor. Now there's also successful self-employed specialists, such as the doctors, or small businesses that are successful, but they are poor. Now let's contrast that to the big business and the investors. Now, my question to you is, the surviving big businesses and the investors, they are never poor, and the big businesses are never poor, and the investors are never poor. Why? Because of this. The big businesses and the investors, their financial intelligence is essential. Why? Because financial intelligence brings them the money, the income. The higher financial intelligence they have, the higher income they have. And so when you see big businesses, big investors, they are never poor. Now let's go to some history. History number one. In 1971, I'd like to bring us back to the history, just like what Robert Kiyosaki brought us back in the book, because history, we learn a lot in history. In order for us to do better in our today, in our future, we have to go back to history. So in 1971, the US dollar became a currency. So that means people are printing money. It's now a currency. Okay. Number two, 1974. Do you know what happened? The big businesses stopped paying their employees this very important thing. It's called paycheck for life. Paycheck for life. And this is what we know as pensions. We do not see this anymore. So in 1971, US dollar became a currency. So people, governments were printing money. 1974, businesses stopped paying their employees paycheck for life, which is the pension. And then number 3, and this is why our schools do not teach money. This is a school. It has a flag. And it has kids in here. Small little George, small little Jaden. And this is the teacher. The school do not teach money because what we have to remember, our teachers operate in the E quadrant. They operate in the E quadrant. So if we remember, we model, we mimic, and we master. So now our students here are now geared. This is our students here. This is little George and little Jaden. They are now geared to become employees, or they are geared towards S, self-employed, specialist, or small business. Our goal in life, we need to do what the government wants us to do. We need to be in the B, we need to be in the B or the I, the investor side. So this is why the school did not teach our kids money, because the teachers operate in the E quadrant. So what they do is they teach our kids to operate in the E or operate in the S, self-employed or small business. And our goal in life is to be in this quadrant here, the big business or the investor side. Now, when we have higher financial intelligence, we'll have intelligence, we'll have higher income. Financial intelligence is the intelligence to solve our specific financial problem. Financial IQ is a measure of our result. So in summary, we need to have the 5 financial intelligence. And if you remember, they are number 1, this is a river. And the river has small streams, which leads to the bigger river. And this is a faucet. That's my iteration of a faucet. So that means we've got to make, oops. More money. That's number one, financial intelligence, number one. Number two, this is my house, and I'm drawing 4 sides with fence around my house to protect my house. That's my castle. So financial intelligence number 2 is we've got to protect our money. And if you remember, taxes is our biggest expense. You'll say, Ria, how do we protect our money? What eats up our money? It's taxes. So what do? We need to reduce our taxes. And you'll say, Ria, how do we do that? How do we decrease our taxes? I tell you, it's been given to us. Our government do what your government or our government wants us to do. And if you don't know what that is, look around your community. Solve your community's problem. Look around you. There's a lot of problem in our community. If we solve our community's problem, the government incentivizes us by solving the problem. And how? They help us reduce our taxes. Since taxes are the #1 factor that eats up our money, we got to protect it by reducing our taxes. And how? Solve your community's problem. That's how. Number 3, financial IQ is, if you're familiar with this, I talk this a lot. Talk about this. Financial IQ number 3, got to have an income this on this side, and this is expense on this side. This is assets here, and this is liabilities here. My kids also have this book too, and they talk about this in their Asset Kids book. This income, expense, assets, and liabilities. That means we need to, so number 1, just to recap, we've got to have to make more money. Number 2, we've got to protect our money. In number 3, we need to have a budget. We need to budget our money. And by knowing our income, knowing our expense, knowing our assets, knowing our liabilities, are we able to budget our money? Number 4. We've got to learn how to leverage our money. We've got to learn how to leverage. Our money should work harder for us. And how? For example, if you're buying apartments, you go to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I want to buy a property, let's say a single family house. And I'm offering you this mortgage. I put 20% down payment and you give me 80% to purchase the property. So 20% is from your money and 80% is from the bank's money. That's your own payment. So that is leveraging your money. You only need 20%. The bank will give you 80% and you get to buy the house. All the tax write-offs of this apartment you get, and the bank do not get it. Number 5, financial intelligence is, and this I do every single day. And for the last 8 years, I've been doing this. And it has improved our financial status. And what is this? These are books. These are mentors. And this is joining conferences. So financial intelligence number 5 is increasing our financial information. So to recap, the 5 financial intelligences, this is flow of water, make more money. Number 2 is protect our money. That's your house, put a fence around it. Number 3 is we've got to know income, expense, assets, and liabilities, and that is budgeting our money. Number 4 is leveraging our money. 20% is your down payment, 80% is from the bank. And number 5, increasing our financial information. Every day I read a lot of books. For over 8 years, I have mentors that I follow every day. I pay for them. I pay for speed because mentors shortens my success. And remember, we model, we mimic, and we master. So I want to model them. I want to mimic them, and I want to master what they're doing. Success leaves clues. All we've got to do is find the crumbs, and the mentors have the crumbs. So we just have to pick their crumbs and do what they are and have been very successful in doing. And this is the conferences that we have to attend every year. So those are the 5 financial intelligence. And this is the topic for today, which is who needs the most financial IQ? So do you think you need the financial IQ? I'm in the S quadrant. A lot of times people on the E and the S do not think that they do not think that they need more financial IQ. But in fact, people on the E and the S need more financial IQ so that they can be on the B side or on the I side.
I love it. I think so beautiful, so amazingly illustration that people, I know I've got tons of information and friends. This is beautiful. I hope you've taken tons of notes. That is truly has been inspiration, Ria. That is amazing. So beautiful. Absolutely. Everybody needs financial education. After this information, everybody would.
Well, I'm glad.
Thank you. That is so beautiful. So did you want to share anything else, Ria? Or
so what my last words are, I'm currently in the S. I'm a self-employed and a small business, and I'm trying to get my way to the big business and to the I, because this is where, if I go back to the slide here, where we have higher financial intelligence, we have more financial income coming in. Why, right? Increase in financial intelligence, we have more income coming in. So hopefully you learn something and you strive to be on the B side and the I side. So now is the time to equip ourselves with more financial education. So stay tuned for more Alka and Ria show, and we'll continue to improve our education and your education together. We are sharing what we are learning so that you can pick up our crumbs. Remember, we model, we mimic, and we master. Who are you modeling? So stay tuned, my friends, for next episodes.
Thank you so much, Ria. That was amazing. Wow. Beautiful. Great illustrations. Very clearly illustrated. I got tons of information. So friends, we have come to the end of the show, and I hope that you have gotten tons of information, got so many notes that you wrote down, because that was great. You know, we all need financial education. Doesn't matter which part of the quadrant we're at, whether it's the employee or the S quadrant for a specialist or a small business. You do always need to be constant and educating yourself. So we all need financial education. So friends, we have come to the end of the show, and it's been always a pleasure to be with you so that we can impart our knowledge onto you. Ria, thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
Friends, stay tuned for tomorrow's show, same time, same place. So in the meantime, make the rest of the day the best of your day.